Good evening. I want to welcome you and call to order this meeting of the Floresville ISD Board of Trustees for this date, January the 9th, 2023 at 6:30 p.m. Let the record show that there is a quorum of board members present. Myself, Joel Odom, Mrs. Lionel Martinez, Mr. Jason Sabota, Ms. Bonner Reed, Mr. Stephen Shodrock, Mr. Marshall Fleer, and Mr. Craig Moots. Furthermore, let the record show that this meeting has been duly posted in accordance with the Texas Open Meetings Act. Now, if you'll stand, and Mrs. Martinez will now lead us in prayer, followed by Mr. Sabota leading the pledges.
Heavenly Father, we come to you today asking for your blessing, wisdom, and support as we begin this meeting. Guide us in the matters at hand and help us engage in meaningful discussion. Give us the insight and understanding needed to make the best decisions concerning the welfare of our students, faculty, and staff, and to nurture the bonds with our community. May we invest ourselves in our work and remember that it is you who is working through us. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Pledge allegiance.
Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas,
one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Now, Mr. Fleer will now recite our FISD vision and mission statement.
The FISD vision statement is character, knowledge, and confidence. Our mission statement is FISD is committed to the development of innovative, lifelong learners who possess character traits to achieve personal and professional success.
Now, Mr. Moots will recite our FISD goals.
The FISD goals are excellent student outcomes, superior workplace environment, exceptional customer service and community engagement, strategic resource management.
Now we'll do a round robin of the board reciting of the FISD core beliefs. Our FISD core beliefs are, in FISD, we believe all students feel safe and supported in a developmentally and academically challenging environment.
Families are welcome partners in their children's education.
Faculty and staff are compassionate, dedicated, adaptable individuals who are student-centered.
Campus leadership is fair, equated, and clearly communicates and engages with stakeholders.
Superintendent and central administration lead with integrity, transparency, and clear communication to provide a well-resourced educational environment.
The trustees provide student-centered and fiscally responsible leadership and a transparent and ethical support of all stakeholders.
I will now recite our overview of good governance and code of ethics. Each month, we highlight one of our good governance indicators and code of ethics that the FISD Board of Trustees follow to promote the best interests of the district as a whole. This month, for the code of ethics, we are highlighting commitment to service. I will focus my attention on fulfilling the board's responsibilities of goal setting, policy making, and evaluation. I will diligently prepare for and attend board meetings. I will avoid personal involvement in activities the board has delegated to the superintendent. I will seek continuing education that will enhance my ability to fulfill my duties effectively. Our good governance indicator for this month is the board has a code of ethics for itself and promotes ethical behavior and the governance structure throughout the organization and in interactions with workforce, vendors, and stakeholders. Next, we have some recognitions for FFA state qualifiers.
Yes, we can have Mr. Drzombi. It's not Mr. Drzombi. Mr. Billings. We'll turn it over to Mr. Billings to recognize some of our state qualifiers for FFA. Y'all come on over there and stand by the podium, right?
Good evening. We're missing one. Chase Schultz is not here this evening. We have Natalie Valdez and Wesley Kutzer. The three of them competed as Greenhead Skills first-year freshman students. The skills demonstration is a contest where kids memorize a script 10 to 20 minutes long and they put on a demonstration on how to do a skill. Our skill is lawnmower maintenance. We figure that covers farmers, ranchers, residential people. Most everybody has a yard. And so they demonstrate how to do routine maintenance. Our script is about 17 and a half minutes long. So they memorized the script. They competed at district level. Top 2 teams move on from different districts to area. At the area competition, top 2 teams move on to state. And at the state, there's 2 heats of 12. We came up short to make it to the finals, but they were only about 2 teams out from making it to the finals. So I've been here for 20 years. This is year 21, I think. And in my time here, we've never made it to state. This is a really, really difficult contest. So these kiddos did a great job, and they represented Floresville well. And I'd like to thank the board for allowing us to go to contests and do these different things, because I know I'm terrible at speaking. I don't like to get up and talk. And I know these guys don't like to get up and talk. But putting yourself out there and being able to go places is important, and it's good for these kiddos.
All right.
So thank you.
Say a few words.
You bet.
Hope y'all will turn around.
Y'all, that makes us proud to know what y'all have accomplished. I mean, it's not just, I'll get up and speak a little bit. There's all the competition y'all have to go through and studying and memorizing. I don't know how y'all did that, 17 minutes worth, but that makes us proud as a board and as parents. You know, I know there's a lot of sacrifice for the parents too, but to know what we're doing, what the administration's doing, what your teachers are doing, that y'all can come through and represent us so well as Floresville High School. Congratulations, all I can say. That's pretty awesome. Good job.
Come on, Mr. Billy, get over there. Y'all back up and get right there in the middle.
Ms. Reed, can you move that just a little? There you go. 1, 2. 1, 2.
Congratulations. Very proud of you, Bill.
Congratulations, sir.
Congratulations.
Good job.
Billy?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Good job, sir.
Yes, sir. I was refer back to the Shay was on my team. That was one of my best teams. We were shocked.
Good job.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Good evening, school board. I am Mark Jazambek. I'm one of the other ag teachers at high school. I am happy to present to you the agricultural advocacy team. This is one of our other leadership teams that we have at the high school. This team, they advocate for the agricultural industry. We pick our target audience, and then we develop a script, and then we present that presentation and then answer questions afterwards. Our audience this year that we chose were food consumers in the United States. We know that there's a lot of myths and a lot of false advertising and false propaganda thrown at food consumers every day through different forms of media. So we took 5 myths that food consumers see every day, and we showed how those 5 myths were wrong. This group, they were first at district, second at area, which qualified them for the state contest, and then we ran into a tough set of judges at the state contest and ended up 6th in our round, which made us in the top 12 of the state. It's top 3% out of 401 teams in the state. We missed making the finals by 1 placing. It was a pretty rough, disappointing night, but sometimes that's just the way judging goes, and we knew that. The girls came out of the room, they said they gave a great presentation, gave the best presentation that they could, so that's all we could ask for, and we're very proud of them.
Who do we have here?
Oh, I'm sorry, I should have. Peyton Jazambek, Kayla Drew, Teva File, and Elise Fry.
All right.
This group does have a pretty good history. This is the 7th time we've qualified for state, 7th time out of the last 8 years. So we've got a pretty good standing in this competition as we compete every fall.
Mr. Zelnick, I think you're doing a fine job, because these ladies keep coming up here every year and doing better and better and better. you might have just missed out on the, state finals, but I think y'all keep climbing. I mean, this is the start of your career. Y'all just keep going and keep going, because this is just the beginning. Y'all are doing a fine job, and like you say, in agriculture advocacy, we need more of that. So y'all keep it up and go A&M or wherever y'all decide to go, but keep pushing it, and because that's what we're gonna need from you young ladies, and keep pushing. And again, congratulations, you did a great, fine job. Thank you.
Representing us at the state level is not an easy feat. You all do it very well. We appreciate it. We're very proud of you. So let's take another picture real quick.
One, two. One, two.
Any other parents want to get up here? Or spouse.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh.
All right, congratulations, ladies. Congratulations, sir. I'm sure we'll see you again. Okay. Good job. Wouldn't expect anything less from you.
Our other group is the FFA Public Relations team. This team, Cambry Angle, Caitlin Peck, I'm so good, Addison Peck, Kendra Ramirez, and Ms. Lee. This group also competed at the district level, was first. They won area and then went on to the state. They were fourth on Friday in the semifinals and then ended ninth in the finals on Saturday. Very encouraging to see a group of freshman girls, or freshman kids competing against juniors and seniors and then kicking their butts, as they did all year. This group, they have a target audience given to them to present about the FFA. Our target audience this year was $1 million donors. So we talked or spoke to McCoy's and Tractor Supply because they are related to us here in Floresville. Again, a great group. We see a lot of promise with this group. This team, we've got a lot of history in with this team. This is actually the 15th time we've qualified for state. We've actually won the state contest 3 times. So a lot of history here with this group, and we're very proud of it.
Again, girls, like we talked to the other girls in front of y'all, y'all are younger, y'all are still coming up, and that's awesome that y'all made it this far at such a young age. Y'all have a great teacher, but there's a lot of room for improvement. I mean, y'all have been so far. It's awesome to see y'all grow and what's to come. So congratulations, and keep it up, keep up the good work, keep studying hard, and make us proud, because we're proud of y'all, because that's a pretty good accomplishment. Thank you.
So ladies, we're very proud of y'all as a district. To reach this level as a freshman is phenomenal. And to Mr. Drzombic and our FFA teachers, all of our sponsors for all of these events, these kids do a great job. They're developing leadership skills that are going to pay off in the long run as a part of our CTE program. So ladies, again, congratulations and thank you very much.
One, two. One, two.
Again, sir.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
I was proud of it. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Good job again, man. Oh, that's good.
Now we have our Texas Association of Future Educators State Qualifiers.
Yes, hello. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Cassie Korzekwa. I am a high school teacher at Floresville High School. These are my lovely Texas Association of Future Educators students. They are in my education and training pathway. Hopefully one day we will be future teachers. If not, we sure the heck will know how to teach, right? Okay, so our state qualifiers for children's literature Spanish division is Miss Andrea Rodriguez and Sandra Ramos. These two young ladies wrote a Spanish book, all in Spanish, level kindergarten, right? Pre-K?
Yes.
Yeah, pre-K kindergarten book, all in Spanish. Their interview is all in Spanish. Everything is in Spanish. So these two ladies are absolutely well versed. Project Visualize is Ashley Martinez and Eli Perez that'll be competing in that division at the state contest. Public Speaking in the varsity division is Amanda Rodriguez, and then Isabella Valdez in the junior varsity division. Our job interview state qualifier is Raven Rodriguez. And then passing our educational leadership fundamental test is Miss Alyssa Quiones. Yes, and that's us for now.
I gotta say congratulations, that's quite an accomplishment, especially when you're keeping up with Ms. Grisecco. That in itself says a lot, so it means a lot that y'all's character and keep up the good work and good luck in the future, because we look forward to having y'all back in Floresville ISD for being teachers. So don't forget about us and do well. Again, congratulations. Thank you.
Our future ready teachers organization just recently came back, is that correct?
Yes, it did. I would like to add, Taffy has not competed in Floresville, at Floresville ISD in over 15 years. So when I'm an alumni of 2002, when I came back as a teacher, I was like, you know what, I had so much fun in that future teacher program and I wanted to bring it back. Last year we dabbled in it and this year we went full force, so.
We're already qualifying for state. So
Yes.
thank you very much for your leadership.
Thank you.
We're very proud of each and every one. Thank you.
Keep up.
We may have to go like too deep. We have to get a front row and a back row or something.
Yeah, Sandra Ward.
Oh, it's odd.
One, two. You can move here if you like to the end. I feel weird.
All right, parents, y'all come on up.
I love you, Raven.
And real quick, guys, to the parents, thank you so much for allowing me to be around your kiddos and, and teaching them everything that, you know, comes out of my mouth. We always have a good time. Thank you, guys.
Cassie, I'm on a blackberry.
Oh, I'm sure you will, Lana. Release is not open anymore.
Thank you so much.
Wow. Have a good one. I love you, Lana. Yes, sir, thank you. Thank you so much for taking this on.
Good job, Cassidy.
Thank you, Marshall.
Okay, I'm going.
That's what I was thinking.
Got the handicap parking.
Give him a little
You
warning.
left him at home?
All right, shoot.
That thing's horrible.
Give him a little bell.
Yeah.
Maybe and a half of that. I find it from over my house.
Good.
Where's Brooks? He needs a ticket.
Our next recognition is football academic all-state honors. And Coach Roars, would you please introduce these students?
Good evening, school board and Dr. Gilstrap. Being a student athlete in Floresville ISD is something that we're very proud of all of our student athletes. They excel on the field and in the classroom. And these gentlemen right here are a prime example of our very best in the football program. Not only do you get to see tremendous football players that were able to receive individual accolades such as first team, second team, all district awards in a very competitive district. What we're really proud of is each one of these gentlemen standing in front of you tonight received academic all-state honorable mention for THSCA. So that is why we're here tonight. We're very proud of these guys. Their commitment to the classroom as well as their field of play is very impressive, and we're very proud of them.
Who do we have, Coach? Who do we have?
Oh, I'm sorry. We have, sorry guys. I've known you for so long. It's Jace Williams,
Nice to meet you.
Harris Roars, Ashawn Mayberry, Jason Coronado, Gavin LaFleur, and Peyton Povisco.
Gentlemen, I'd like to congratulate on all that. As Coach Rohr said, a student athlete, that's a two-way requirement. So it's one thing to start out there probably early August in the heat, working on the practice, going back twice a day, and then spending the beginning of the school year. But that shows your commitment and your concentration to balance the academics as well. So I think that shows your demonstration, your ability to be well-rounded. I think it'll pay off great as you leave Floresville and go into your next career. And I know y'all will do well and represent our school very well. So I congratulate y'all on that. Thank y'all.
Thank you.
Hold on, let me get my scooter.
Yeah, I know. It's okay. He's tall.
One, two. Just get one more. 1, 2.
Can you Photoshop my scooter out of there?
Come on. Come on up here, take a picture.
Next year you should get on.
Yes, sir.
I'm doing
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you. Yes, sir. Thank you.
No question for Dad.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, man. Thank you. Yes, sir. Thank you.
Now we have recognition for the Texas Girls Coaching Association 4A All-State Volleyball Team. Ms. Hoffman, our Coach Roars.
Go ahead, Coach Rohr, if you want. Introduce her.
Either one.
I'm not going to introduce her. Coach Hoffman has quite a few things that she wants to share with you. I just want to be able to introduce Coach Hoffman, and she's about to come over and talk about something really special, which is the athletic side of it. We always talk about student athlete, but this recognition is quite an honor, especially for someone as young as Paisley. So I'm going to turn that over to Coach Hoffman. She's got about 5 or 10 minutes that she wants to talk about.
It's not a 3-page dissertation. So good evening, Dr. Gilstrap, ladies and gentlemen of the board. I want to first start by thanking y'all for always recognizing and celebrating the successes of our young ladies and men. Tonight's not an exception. So we had something really special and exciting this year in the volleyball program. And I knew watching them that it was going to be a tremendous year early on. So, and the community support we had was hands down probably the most amazing that I've experienced in my 16 years of coaching. So a large part of our success was due to the young lady you see standing before you. Volleyball is a game of length and technicalities, and at 5'9", Paisley is not very tall with respect to that sport, but she plays like she's at least 6'3", with a lot of grit, determination, and just wanting to win. So she's a super duper fierce competitor. Paisley set out with some very specific goals for herself this season, ones that she knew would benefit her and have a huge impact in helping her team. She didn't meet those goals, she surpassed them. As a freshman, Paisley served on the varsity team as a captain and as one of the captains, and she brought an advanced skill set and knowledge of the game. Hours upon hours of sacrifice and training were definitely on display every time she took the court, and if you were present, you got to witness that. The following are her individual stats. So for 117 sets on the season, which was 40 matches, Paisley came out for 2 plays, and that was it. It was just to make sure she was okay. She had 8 assists on the season, 11 block assists, 7 solo blocks, 81 service aces, 340 service receptions, 476 digs, and 542 kills on the season. We know that the kills don't come without sets, which don't come without good receptions and digs. This is a very systemic game where the young ladies rely on one another. Paisley was able to deliver in every skill of the sport with more than impressive numbers. She was unanimously named as the 2022 District 29 4A Newcomer of the Year. She was Academic All-District. She was also named to the San Antonio Express News 2022 1A to 4A All-Area Team. So across all 1A and 4A schools in this area in Texas, Paisley was one of 12 ladies selected for that team, and she was the only freshman on the list. The specific award she's being recognized for tonight is one that's very seldom obtained and is such a high, distinct honor. Not many freshmen make that list. Of the 207 4A teams in the state, hundreds of nominations, Paisley was selected as one of 50 young ladies in our state by the Texas Girls Coaching Association Committee. Each nomination is reviewed, and then an 8-person or an 8-man committee selects. Paisley was the only freshman of all 50 girls to be on that list. Beyond the game, Paisley maintains straight A's in the classroom, and she's involved in multiple service projects in our community and the surrounding communities. Paisley, the community and your team are so grateful for your commitment to the game, and we're immensely proud of you. We're excited to watch the magic on the court that you bring for the next few years and beyond that. Ladies and gentlemen, your 2022 Newcomer of the Year, Academic All-District, Express News All-Area Team member, and TGCA All-State Volleyball Athlete, freshman Paisley Poliska.
Paisley, I got something to say. Wow. I had something to say. I had wrote down all my stuff, but Coach took all my metrics away from me. But yeah, I looked it up. Over 200 schools, only 50 kids were given that opportunity, and you, freshman. That's good. So, I would say that probably goes back to many years as a kid, starting off, you know, in some young sport, but it paid the dividends of those years for you to be able to get to that skill set and be able to get to that commitment, not to mention the confidence you had in yourself and your parents. So I congratulate you. Thank you.
Awesome job. Thank you very much, Paisley, for representing us. To reach this at a freshman level is phenomenal. It's not an easy feat. It has taken a lot of time to develop this skill. And also you have a team. You have coaches, you have other players that are a part of this. But you get that recognition, and we're very proud of you. To Mom and Dad, we appreciate y'all so much, because we know you've been driving around and traveling around all over the place. I've been there. You know, been traveling around, doing all that kind of stuff. So we're very proud of you as a district and as a community. So congratulations again.
You want to take a picture?
Very proud.
Congratulations,
Thank
Barry.
you.
Jumping up forward.
Congratulations.
Mr. Mills said
Appreciate y'all
as
very
well.
much.
And she's
Thank you very,
surprised.
very proud of the hard work you've put in.
Oh, yes, ma'am. It's my pleasure.
Thank y'all very much. Appreciate y'all very much.
Get the best for that.
Next, we're going to recognize the FISD Student and Teacher of the Month for the month of January, Floresville North Elementary, Ms. Heather Brooks.
Good evening, School Board, President Odom, and Dr. Gilstrap. I'm honored to be here tonight to recognize the first Students and Teacher of the Month of 2023. FNE would like to recognize Anna Turner for the January Teacher of the Month. Ms. Turner has 18 years of experience in education, but joined our FNE team just this year. In 4 short months, she has shined as a gifted 4th and 5th grade dual language teacher. She continuously makes an impact on students through engaging activities and lessons, which were recently featured during our Blended Learning Showcase. She has the ability to motivate students to advance academically and socially, and includes culturally relevant activities routinely. Her students' growth factor this year is through the roof. One of the students in her class said, quote, "We are always doing cool things in Ms. Turner's room. She teaches me about all kinds of stuff I didn't know, and I really like when we get to write about different people and stories from all around the world." Ms. Turner also connects and collaborates with her 4th grade and dual language teams. She recently helped plan the FNE Tamalada and showcased important figures in Hispanic heritage. Her colleagues say that she is a welcome asset to the campus and someone who has always had students' best interests in mind. FNE is truly blessed to have her on our campus, so I would like to present to you Ms. Anna Turner, our January Teacher of the Month. FNE would also like to recognize our first Student of the Month, Ms. McKenna Seidel. She is joined tonight by her parents, Brandon and Kristen. McKenna is an exceptional student who is full of enthusiasm and has a positive attitude. She participates in FNE choir and safety patrol. In addition, she takes extra time to show notes, play volleyball and soccer, and enjoy spending time with friends. Her favorite hobby is going fishing at her great uncle's house. Her teachers describe her as, quote, "an excellent student who is very responsible, sweet, and smart." In the future, she plans to work hard and obtain a scholarship to attend college at Texas A&M. Her studies at A&M include extending her knowledge of animals and becoming a veterinarian. Congratulations to our Student of the Month, 5th grader, McKenna Seidel. FNE would also like to recognize John Gaitan as our second January Student of the Month. He is joined tonight by his parents, John and Liliana Gaitan. He is an exceptional student who models hard work and dedication. John loves to play football, baseball, video games, and spend time with his family and friends. His teachers describe him as, quote, "an outstanding student who is attentive to the needs of his classmates and puts forth his best effort in any given situation." Teachers also say that he is extremely compassionate and respectful to his classmates and adults. Each day at FNE, John models being a good friend, an exceptional student who can always be counted on to help others or include all students on the playground. In the future, John plans to take over his father's power washing company. He plans to go to LSU and wants to work hard on getting scholarships. Congratulations to our second Student of the Month, 5th grader, John Gaitan.
I want to take the time to, first of all, with Ms. Turner, I've heard lots of good things, and the students look up to you, and your creativity comes through to your students where they want to learn, and you give them that extra push, and that's great. Young man, well, you want to go far away from home, but you've a lot of good interest, and in school and out of school, and your politeness is accomplishment. Young lady, I'm glad you have got the go-to-ness and wanting to go, and you're very smart, polite, and you're involved in other activities, and both of you have good grades. I hope maybe you'll come back and teach, or come be a vet for us.
Congratulations. your seat.
Yeah.
1, 2. 1, 2. 2, 3.
Dr. Gilstrap would like to say a word.
Yes, board members, we do have one last recognition this month. The month of January is traditionally set aside to recognize our school board across the state of Texas. And so I just want to take a few minutes of the board's time to, again, say thank you and how much we appreciate you on behalf of our community, on behalf of our staff, our students, the time that you dedicate to each of us and to our community to meet this civic need in our community is outstanding. And y'all do a great job as a team. To have all 7 of you at multiple board meetings is great. We really appreciate y'all coming together to help us and lead us as a school district in our community. So again, a lot of people think this is a paid position. You're not. If you've gotten a paycheck from us, let me know. But we do want to just say thank you on behalf of the district and our community for the time that y'all dedicate away from your families to spend time up here and assist us in running our district day to day. We do have a little video that we've put together, and so we'd like to present that for you this evening. Audio.
For creating an engaging learning environment. For helping us bring discovery and great talents. For recognizing our needs and talents.
For providing innovative opportunities to learn.
For helping us grow.
For celebrating our victories on the classroom and on the field.
For your service to the schools everywhere. For helping us learn valuable life lessons.
For paving the way for a successful future.
Chief Brooks, you turn the light. So again, board members, thank you very much for what y'all do. We hope that you appreciate everything that we do for you, and we make you proud because we are very proud of what you do. So thank you very much again. So we'll give y'all a All right.
Ms. Petrie, do we have any public comments?
No.
All right. Next on the agenda are reports and updates. Dr. Gilstrap will start us off with the superintendent's report.
Yes, Dr. Odom, thank you very much. First of all, welcome to 2023. Our staff is excited to welcome students back tomorrow for our second semester, and we know that the spring semester is full of a lot of exciting events and a lot of exciting lessons that cultivate in graduation at the end of the year and ultimately moving on to the next grade level. So welcome to 2023. Over the Christmas break, our maintenance and our technology departments were able to complete several projects and do some much needed preventative maintenance and updates to several systems. A major project was the relocation of several of our special ed staff over to the high school from central office. This is just another step in the process as we look to open this building next year as an early childhood center for pre-K. So you will soon see through publications and through the newspaper and some of the things we're going to start putting out beginning this month, some more information about us opening this up. We've talked about it as a board, we've talked about it in open session, we've talked about it to administrators, to campuses and employees, but we need to make sure that our community is aware as well. So we're very excited about that. You're going to see a lot more information about that coming up. We continue to develop the FISD Strategic Plan 2.0. Dr. Karen Halachka will be facilitating our community meetings as we look forward to really breaking down and looking into goal 4, the strategic resource management. This includes our facilities. We've talked about that a little bit, and we've talked about how this may become a part of our long-range planning committee to consider how we want to address future growth and we prepare our facilities for that growth. So this is really kind of the kickstart to this. Our first meeting, community meeting, will be in early February, in which Dr. Karen will be coming in and facilitating that into multiple groups. We are looking for 40 to 60 participants. If we have more, that's great. But really we want to try to shoot for that optimal number so that we can have a lot of good information and good feedback and discussions with those. We will be communicating and preparing emails to go out to all the people that have participated in multiple things throughout the year since I've been here. We've had a lot of participation from community members, so we're going to be pushing out an email to them, inviting them to RSVP. But if you know of anyone that wants to participate in this, we will also have information out on social media and on our website so that they can click on there and RSVP for this event. Be looking for that to come out over the next 2 weeks. So we try to give people about a week's notice, or excuse me, about a month's notice before we have one of those public meetings. Also, board members, we invite you to participate as well. A few of you would be great to be involved in that process as we start down that road to see which way we're going to go. We will be scheduling our Team of 8 training for Monday, February 13th at 6 o'clock. So board members, if you recall, we sent out a survey. That was kind of a date that everyone indicated they were available. Region 20 will be facilitating this. It will also include what they call an ISO training, which is evaluating and improving student outcomes. This is another required training. We can combine the Team of 8 with that. So whenever we can get everybody here, we can knock out 2 of those trainings through one workshop. So again, Monday, February the 13th at 6 o'clock. It will be about a 3-hour training. So we will have a meal provided. So please make arrangements to attend. If not every board member is present, it can't count as a Team of 8 training. So please make an effort to be here and mark it on your calendar early. We do have several upcoming events that we've listed there, particularly the Wilson County Livestock Show is coming up later this month, so I encourage you to be out there and watch our kids participate because it's fun, it's engaging, and our kids get out there and represent us in our community, and so they do such a great job. So if you can, get out there and be a part of that process. And then we have a few future board agenda items that are listed there as well. One thing that I do want to say about the students that we recognize, we're very proud of all of them. And in order to get to this level where they're being recognized by the board, they have to reach a state level, whether it's academic all-state or state competition. So these kids that we're recognizing, we recognize a lot of them throughout the year. These are kids that have gone to as far as they can go in whatever competition or whatever level they're at. They've gone as far as they can go in the state of Texas. So this is just the beginning. Obviously, we'll have more throughout the spring semester, but we're very proud of these kids. And that's all I have for tonight.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Gilstrap. Next on the agenda, Dr. Wade will now report on the STAR redesign.
Yes, good evening, Dr. Odom, Dr. Gilstrap, and board members. Tonight I'm going to share just some brief information, no vote cards just yet, about the redesign of the State of Texas Assessments of Academic Readiness, otherwise known as the STAR program.
which goes into effect this school year. So this is about the redesign. So back in 2019, Texas House Bill 3906 was passed, requiring some changes to the STAR program. So this is the state assessment that our students take beginning in the 3rd grade and then ending with EOC and of course exams in high school. Some of those changes included a maximum of 75% multiple choice questions, which means 25% cannot be multiple choice. 100% of the test being administered online. A pilot assessment, of which actually our elementary and middle school students are participating in, and then providing interim and formative assessments. The purpose of the redesign was to ensure that the assessments were aligned to engage students in the same way they learn in the classroom. So here is a quick 1-minute video that TEA put out about the STAR redesign. So it was coming in 22, 23, but it is here. So as mentioned, go past that. Sorry. So as mentioned, it is highlighted in the video, the STAR redesign was to improve the alignment of the assessment with good instructional practices. Specifically, there were 4 areas that TEA highlighted for improvement in the redesign. So the first was to align the practice of teaching background knowledge and vocabulary in the reading language arts test, which includes cross-curricular passages. So that means on a reading language arts test, they're going to be reading about something in science or something in social studies. Secondly, to align the practice of asking students to write about what they're reading with evidence from the text they're reading. The redesigned reading language arts test will have students write a text-based response. There's actually 2 ways that they do that. I'll share some details about that in a minute. And then to align with the various open-ended formats that occur in the classroom, non-multiple choice item types, which I mentioned earlier, 25%, will be included in the assessments. And then fourthly, to align with the appropriate accommodations for students who might need a little special help to meet the needs of all students, the online platform has all of the embedded online accommodations that are available for students. And then finally, not really a part of the redesign, but moving to online assessment, the TA says, will provide us with faster results, which is true. So just to give you a sampling of what some of the questions, I won't dig deep into these, sampling. Here's an example of a cross-curricular reading passage for a 5th grade reading test, has science content. Here's an example of a 4th grade reading language arts passage where the students will be asked to write an informational essay with evidence from the text to support their answer. Here's an example of a 4th grade math question where the students will have to shade in a fraction model, and that's what that is right there, fraction model, sorry. To represent the addition of 2 fractions. And you can see this is how it might be taught with a strip diagram. Sorry, that's my math brain coming out. Visual representation of fraction, and then how that's going to look on the test. So they wouldn't put multiple choice if they're actually shading it on the test. So
In addition to accommodations for students, there are content-specific tools available for students who qualify to meet those, have those accommodations. And then such items as answer eliminators are available to cross out answer choices that all students have access to. The specific accommodations could have online calculators if students qualify for that, and then spelling assistance and the text-to-speech or speech-to-text. So all of those items are embedded in this new online platform. Whereas before, if you might know about a student that needed an oral administration of a test, might have to have a test read to them, well, they don't have to have a person reading to it because the online platform will read to them, and they could actually speak something into the computer that will translate into text for them as well. So this is the fun one for me. TEA has stated that the overall test will not be harder. There may be some items that are harder, but the mix of difficulty should be balanced across the years by using field test questions. So last year, our students, when they took their tests, they have what are called field test questions. They don't count for their passing or not passing the STAR, they're just field tested to see how students will perform. So once those field test question comes back, TEA grades them, okay, was this a question that students missed a lot, this is more difficult, or everybody got this right, that might be a less difficult question. So TA uses that mixed in of more difficult or less difficult to build, this is what I call the gumball machine, the STAR test, okay? So here's what they're saying is going to happen. The goal is that the difficulty of the test is balanced. So before STAR, we had a weight here of 7 pounds, and with the redesign, we'll have 7 pounds, but you will notice the balls seem to be a little bit bigger. You notice that? So some individual items might be more challenging, but overall, the difficulty of the test, they say, will be the same. That's the goal. So here's some other examples. Here's an 8th grade social studies, an example of a non-multiple choice question. It's a drag and drop. So students would choose from these characteristics, is this in the Virginia plan or is this in the New Jersey plan? Here's an example of a multiple choice, or excuse me, a multiple select question that might look like for an elementary math student, where they have to say which of these 3 equations could be used to find the answer to the problem. Not just one way, but which 3. Here's an example of an 8th grade math match table grid where a student would select the description for each of the transformations. So here's a description, and then they have to select which category it fits. A particular concern for us is the new equation editor that students will have to use. So here's an example for an elementary math where they have to use something like a calculator. I don't know if you can see that very well, but here's the numbers, and then there's some symbols, there's some parentheses, there's a multiplication symbol, addition symbol, and so the students actually have to write in an equation, is it equal to, less than, or greater than, using the symbols. That's elementary. Algebra has a little more complex equation editor because they get into things like square roots or squared numbers, or here's the fraction with the numerator and denominator. So having students practice with that equation editor piece is very critical. And then finally, here's an example of a elementary science, what's called the short constructed response. So students would have to type their answer in this little text box using sentences. So TA has promised resources to support with this transition, and I'm not listing all of them, but in blue, they said the final blueprints would be available this summer. They were available in August. A blueprint shows us how many questions are coming from a specific group of the standards or the TEKS, and then how many points those questions would be. So we've got all these different types of questions besides just multiple choice. So some of them are worth 2 points. The essay is worth 10 points. So giving us an idea about how many points each of those categories would have. In August, I also want to let you know, TEA provided a practice test. This was not a full-blown test, but just some samples with the new item types that students and teachers can access.
In September, we received the reporting guides on how those new question types would be scored. With the multiple points, like when are they going to get 1 point? This is the question teachers were asking me last year. It's 2 points. How are they going to decide if they get 1 point, 2 points, or no points? So we got that information in September. And then in November, TA came out with some training that was available for teachers. It's online, but they actually could go to the service center if they wanted to participate that way. And then also in November, we finally received the keys to those practice tests, so we knew what the correct answer was, just in case there was a question. This is really a big graphic that shows here are the different item types that are now available besides multiple choice. And then the categories, math, reading, language, arts, science, and social studies, and then which grade levels are having those multiple item types. So you can see math has, I think there's 12 item types. Reading, language, arts has a few less, science a few less, and social studies. But here's an example. This extended constructed response, that's the essay question, that only appears on the reading, language, arts test. The short constructed response only appears on the reading, language, arts, science, and social study. It does not appear on math. Math has many other possible question types. Oh, I did want to mention also, I mentioned this is an essay. We've had essay tests in the on the test before with the writing test in 4th and 7th grade, and our English 1 and English 2 EOC tests have always included an essay. So the concept of an essay is not new for the reading language arts test in high school, but it's not been in all the reading language arts. It's only been in 4th and 7th grade that they've done this. So on October the 20th of this fall, TA released an updated timeline for the report of the New Start tests. Hang on to your seats. We anticipate getting the student scores sometime in mid-August. So they're going to take it in April and in May, and we'll find out mid-August. So here's the timeline where they're showing you, we're taking the test, we're going to set the standard, and here's August, that skill scores and performance levels are available to districts. And finally, we get the data file sometime in August. And then, you know, the accountability report that usually comes out in August, we're going to get that sometime mid-September. So the first question, now this says right here, grades 3 through 8. So what's missing is EOC. And what's important about EOC is seniors that need to graduate. So TA in this October 20th email said that the EOC early performance levels will be released right here on May the 31st. And then we'll get preliminary assessment results for family on June the 30th. Our graduation is May the 26th. So EOC, TA said we're going to give you some early raw score supporting guidance. And I put it over here. They're going to, on each of the tests, going to tell us whether the student was likely did not pass, 1 through 6, likely did pass, 14 through 20, or this is really the zone of uncertainty. So this is supposed to be the guidance to help us make decisions about students that need to graduate on May the 26th. That's what we're going to get. Just want you to know. Okay, but taking a breath, sorry, that was a little bit. So to address those 4 areas of cross-curricular passages, new item types, the evidence-based writing, and the online testing accommodations, FISD developed our STAR Redesigned Instructional Action Plan back in August to provide support and resources. So specifically, our Eduphoria platform is our online data warehouse, but we also use it to administer assessments. And it has the ability to create the new item types and all the accommodation features. We have also used that online platform, the interim assessments that I mentioned earlier. That's what the district is using for our benchmarks. So our students take a benchmark test in the fall and the spring. So that's a full opportunity to experience this new online platform, and then they can take the practice test. And so that's 3 opportunities they have to experience the new platform, which is what TA says are at bats that they want the students to have to practice. But regardless of that system, our Eduphoria system allows us to do unit assessments or teacher tests in an online platform simulating those similar things. We have also provided teachers with guidance on their unit tests to mirror the format of 25% non-multiple choice. So if there are 25 questions, then we need some of them not to be multiple choice, some of the new item types. We provided training for all the campus leaders and key teachers on the STAR redesign this summer using a company called Lead Forward. And we're utilizing those online accommodations for students that have those special needs. And campuses are continuing to provide ongoing support weekly with PLCs and using the Eduphoria platform. So that's what we provided for all teachers, specifically at the elementary level. We provided additional resources to help them with those cross-curricular passages, such as access to Scholastic News, Newsomatic, STEMscopes Math, and STEMscopes Science. And then for secondary, we trained all of our secondary teachers in a process of writing across the curriculum to get that writing, since they're going to write not just in reading language arts, they're also going to write in science and social studies. And then teachers have access to resources such as Newsella, Common Lit, Discovery Education, and No Red Ink to help with those cross-curricular passages. So, in summary, FISD provided support through ongoing professional learning, through the summer trainings, back to school in August, and specifically in October, we pulled teachers to do specific training on some resources in the Eduphoria assessment writing. We provided resources in the testing platform and other specific content, and then provided guidance with the online interim assessments in November and March as our district benchmarks and our redesigned instructional plan. So that's my brief summary, and I'll be glad to answer any questions if I know the answer. So you said that there's middle school and the elementary they've done or going to do it's a through pilot, it's a different platform. The 5th grade science and our 8th grade science, social studies are participating in that. That was optional. We did not have to participate in that. That's a whole nother. I didn't know if certain schools were selected. No, we could opt in. And we did. And we did. And those students are using that as their benchmark as opposed to the interim assessment. So we're not making them take double tests, is what I'm trying to say.
And the other thing is, I know they say they can help. We've got a lot of special need kids that can't, they're lucky to get up and I'm talking, to get their clothes on, or maybe we'll get the clothes back on, if they take them off in class. That's a concern for me. They read, sure, but a lot of these kids will not respond to a thing. They respond to a teacher, a live person, and they really think they're going to pass.
Now, the STAR alternate test, which is for our most severely special needs student, is not online. That's specifically just like if they're in life skills, a self-contained classroom, then they don't have an online assessment. Theirs is specifically designed by the teacher with guidance, so it's a little bit different.
So they're having the teachers do.
Yeah, I mean, the teacher inputs the data. We've been doing that for several years. Yeah. That has not changed. This is just for just the mainstream. The
hardcore, the really sped kids.
Yeah. So the special education students have all the online accommodations, the text-to-speech, spelling assistance, calculators, the same things that we would have provided them, a dictionary or something like that, spelling words.
So board members, TA is pushing out more and more information about the redesign to the public, to the families, to the state, community. Several school districts are doing like what we're doing. We'll give you some bits and pieces of this redesign. This is not something that we just found out about. This is something we've been training our teachers for, preparing our students for this type of assessment. So we are not just throwing it at them. But several board members have said, y'all have attended trainings and you've heard about this, and give me some more details about it. So we wanted to try to put together a little bit of a snippet of what this new redesign is going to be about. So you're probably going to hear more about it in the news, through some of the TASB emails that you may get, those communications that TEA puts out to school board members and to our community.
So that end of course, I mean, there's a really, really small window between the 22nd and 26th when we end up in the zone of uncertainty. I mean, what's our,
Yes, sir.
what's our plan? I mean,
Yeah, I'm hoping we're gonna get a little bit more guidance, and we'll be talking with TEA, but that's
pretty
what
vague.
we've been given.
Yeah.
Vague is not the word.
I've-
That's
I've
our new term is the zone, we're all in the zone of
Yeah,
uncertainty.
I've never actually heard TEA come out, and that was their term.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you gotta be kidding.
So what do you know, so the kids go and take back their diploma? I mean. We would base it on what that test is and what we see in classroom and make a recommendation.
that's a tough conversation to have with the student and then
It is a tough
their parents.
And the parent, and look at it, we might get more as.
Well, especially because it could go the other way.
Yeah.
I know, agreed.
Right.
Agreed. So we're gonna have to look at a preponderance of the evidence is what I'm
Oh,
gonna say.
They said this is initial, it's gonna get better in time, because there's no going back. But, you know, this is our new way. There's no
Right.
one way or the old way. This is the way we're
This is
headed.
way. Now,
So-
the timeline is going to get better. That they said this is just the
Yeah.
first year timeline because it's a new test.
They didn't research.
So I'll be glad to talk to you about my personal opinion
It's
and
online.
action plan.
But based on the computer, you would think it'd
Yeah.
be quicker. Quicker.
Quicker.
Like an
And,
election or something.
yeah, the interim test that we're using, we get results the same day.
Right,
Like
so that's
we're
what I don't know
we
what the
get results
delay
the same
is.
day, so not weeks.
So, and how does that process work, whether we're gonna know they passed, didn't pass, or unlikely zone of uncertainty? Where does that come from, and why don't we know results sooner? I guess that's
Because
what.
it's a new test. They got these new item types, and I'm gonna use a big word that I can't necessarily explain, it's called psychometrics. And so it's taking and looking at all the data of where the standards should be based on all this information, based on how our kids actually do.
So they're going
So it's
from
like a rating
everybody
on
to
the
the
curve
state,
then, based on all the
basically,
results.
and they're gonna curve it and
I'll
adjust
just
it.
use the word psychometrics.
Yeah, basically is what we're doing. Okay, that makes more sense now why it's gonna take so long.
It's gonna take, so if I go back, let me go back to that slide.
Well, then you have
It's
the
not
short
just-
answer questions and 3 of those content areas, and then the essays that every reading student has to write in addition to the short answer.
Yeah, because
So
all the short
that's the
answer has to be
grading.
graded by hand.
So
I mean,
you
they
see
grade
right
pretty
here,
quickly, but
here's what
That's
the
not
cutoff, it says standard setting is gonna be from mid-May to mid-July. So they're looking at the results and trying to decide what the standard of meeting, mastering, or not meeting, or approaches will be. And you notice, if you notice the slide, we have TA, those are TA slides, not mine.
But you referenced earlier, some of our students are taking 2 or 3 other assessments throughout the school year. So we're able
Right.
to get our own same-day results of them, and if we see there's a student population, direct
Absolutely.
some efforts toward them that we can help them to stay out of the zone of uncertainty.
Yes, sir.
and are they getting regular practice besides those 3 that, you know, they're required assessment-wise?
So
They're
the
practicing with regular assessment?
Yeah, the Eduphoria platform will simulate all of the accommodations in the different question types, and that's unit assessments that are taken monthly, every other week. So all of our unit assessments for 3rd grade and up are in Eduphoria.
And
I
the
think they
interim
got-
assessments were already updated with those interactive item types?
It has,
Some of them, some of them.
when there's a redesign of a test like this, is there any psychological preparation we can get our students ready? Because, you know, something new, some students, some people don't like change. Is there anything we could, you know, like a change management, can we get them prepared? Hey, it's gonna look different, it will be different.
So that's why we've encouraged our teachers actually to go and take the practice test, so they themselves see what it's looked like, so they can turn around and communicate that with the students. Absolutely, the more exposure we have with
Sure.
the students, the more comfortable that they will be. So that's why we're trying to make sure
Because-
we're providing those opportunities.
Because before, I know that I've had some of my own kids and the parents, and you see on Facebook, pray for our kids, they're taking the STAR test, and kids are throwing up, what is it, when they get a hold of this?
So this has been an adjustment for our
Yeah.
staff as well.
Sure.
So some of those stressors that have been on teachers across the state, not just in Floresville, have been coming to this to where, okay, they've got to adjust preparing those students. So this has been a source of some stress for staff.
We need to help them with that, sure.
Absolutely, and that's why we've made efforts. We signed up to participate early so that we could access it.
Sure.
Teachers could see it, students could see it. And then we're providing training last summer and throughout the year this year, and now our assessments that we're doing with our kids routinely are in this format, so we're taking steps.
Any other questions?
They've got a lot of work to do. TA has a lot of work to do. That's to me, that needs to be worked on considerable.
Because
Considerable amount of time.
they could have done a survey, when do you graduate? You know, when's your graduation deal? Maybe Austin has them in June, not everybody. It's Austin.
So not that we really have a say in it, but think it would be easier for the kiddos in this new, that we're changing it? Would it be easier, this test, or?
I'm not sure the test easier. I think it's gonna be challenging.
Not easier, but a little, how do you say, it's not just sitting and writing what, I mean, it's more compatible for them.
Right.
You know,
It's a lot more
engaging.
interactive.
Yes.
Where
So
they'll be able to.
The errors
They
are
won't
gonna
be-
be in how they manipulate and knowing what to typing, move and
equation.
what to.
The chessboard.
More in their comfort zone, kind of, I guess.
Because one of the things, and that's one of the things I thought about, for some of our high school kids who have taken those traditional tests, and now they gotta switch over in high school, that's gonna be tough.
Yeah.
But I sat back, because whenever all this first came out a couple of years ago, 3 years ago, I thought to myself, my son's gonna be in 3rd grade, and this will be the first one he takes. But then I thought, he won't know any different. This is the only thing he's ever gonna know. So for him, for the young kids, they won't know any different. But for the older kids, it will be an adjustment.
So the platform is new, like interactive items are new, but we in FISD have been doing online assessments for the most part for almost all students, 2 years, principal? About 2 years. So our kids, 3rd grade is the first year, but our kids have been doing online assessment for a couple of years, so that's not new. It's just, it's a new platform.
Right.
There are some districts that don't have devices or the ability to do that, but
They've
we've
got-
been very
They're
blessed.
trying to work on the connectivity in order to assess every kid at one time, on one day. So
So
for
our-
some districts, they're still trying to.
Ours may be a little
figure
more
that out.
comfortable.
Because they've been doing it for,
We have a
we've been
good-
doing it for a couple of
And
years.
going down the road, it may get better, like they say.
Yes.
Okay.
And another thing that has happened this year, TA is removed the time limit. There used to be a 4 or 5 hour time limit for the test. Now they can take as long as they want on that day, so.
Release some stress.
Or you can really take a nap one time,
Yeah.
or a sleeping bag.
Thank you, Dr. Wade.
Thank you
for that report and that news.
Aye.
Now, Dr. Wade will now report on calendar development.
Okay, just take a breath. This will be not nearly as challenging, I hope. So tonight I'm going to share with you the process that the district goes through to develop our school calendar and our current status on the calendar development for 2023-24. So FISD begins the process each year by developing the school calendar by researching what other district calendars are available and looking for trends and ideas. The district leadership team is then surveyed for their priorities for the year, and our calendar committee begins meeting typically in October to draft calendars and make recommendations. 2 draft calendars are presented to all staff for input typically in December, and then our District Education Improvement Committee, also known as our DEIC, provides input to the calendars at their January meeting, and then finally we will come to you actually next month for approval of a draft calendar. This year, the district leadership team overwhelmingly listed teacher planning time as a priority area. In addition, the district leadership team provided guidance on holidays to be observed, the number of trade days for professional learning that teachers go in the summer and get a trade day for, and professional learning time throughout the school year. As part of our research for the trends, the leadership team and our calendar committee reviewed information from a research report published by the Charles Butt Foundation on the 2022 Texas Teacher Poll. The report indicated that in 3 years of their poll data, the number of teachers who are seriously considering leaving the profession has jumped from 58% in 2020 to 77% in 2022. Of the 77% considering leaving, 93% have actually taken concrete steps to do so. When teachers were asked what strategies would encourage them to remain in their jobs, there were 2 items specifically related to calendar. They're right in the middle with that 85%. 85% of teachers surveyed indicated that district-wide days off for teachers and student well-being and a schedule with more time in their day for planning would be an important retention strategy. So that became a topic for us to try to address in our calendar development. So the calendar committee is made up of representatives from each campus and central office. This is the group that I mentioned that reviews draft calendars, make recommendations, and then finalizes 2 draft calendars to present to staff for input. And there's a list of the committee members that were identified on their campuses for this school year. So specific criteria for the calendars include starting school prior to the 4th Monday in August. We actually have a district of innovation plan that allows us to start earlier than that day. We have to provide 2 bad weather makeup days. Our teacher contracts are for 187 days. We try to balance semesters, but also include some time for testing. Elementary specifically has a heavier testing schedule in the spring, but our high school has testing both fall and spring since they're on a 5x5. We are required to have a minimum of 75,600 minutes of school required, and then identifying professional learning throughout the year. So some calendar considerations that we look at is reviewing spring break. This is a hot topic. When is spring break going to be in surrounding areas? If we know about calendars that have already been approved, we look at those, and our surrounding districts talk to one another. When are you going to do spring break? We try to align that, but particularly we look at when the spring break is going to be for Alamo colleges, because we have students participating in the Alamo academies, and we bus those students every day. And we really don't want to have bus drivers and students having to go when we're on spring break and Alamo colleges is not. So we try to align our spring breaks with them. This year it appears that the spring break is pretty aligned, both in the San Antonio area and in the Wilson County, Floresville area. Another consideration this year was to increase the number of minutes per day for middle school by 25 minutes to more align with the number of minutes per day at high school. And then initially, the calendar committee looked at 4 draft calendars just to talk you through the process. They made recommendations, and I created 4 more calendars for them. I did want to let you know that one of those initial calendars I presented was for a 4-day week. I don't know if you've heard about anything in the news about that. There are currently 41 school districts who have a 4-day week, and next year there are several other districts looking at that. In our area, the only school district that we are aware of considering that is Livonia. I'm not much who is pursuing that, and I don't think any of the San Antonio area schools are. I may be wrong about that, but the survey that I looked at said they were not at that time. But our committee overwhelmingly did not want us to pursue a 4-day calendar. So the 4 draft options were presented, and after several iterations, they came down to 2 choices, and you've got those samples in your board packet. So there's the option 1 and the option 2. The 2 calendar drafts were presented to all staff for input. We just reviewed those results this morning, and this afternoon, excuse me. There were 266 staff members who responded, and about 40 comments. I think that's right, about 40 comments to good job. Like that was one of the comments. In January, I'm going to present those 2 calendar options to our District Education Improvement Committee for their input, and then we'll take the calendar, 1 calendar option coming to the board next month to vote for approval. So that's our process and where we currently are. I'll be glad to answer any questions you have.
Dr. Wade, you just mentioned a minute ago about the 4-day week. Who did you say that really doesn't care?
The calendar committee. I presented one, just a draft. Here's what it might look like. It was just a draft.
Right.
I came back with a second draft the second time and changed it around. Still not really crazy about the 4-day.
I know that in Livonia, a lot of the They have a good percentage of stay-at-home moms, but the ones that are working, and they have most of the daycare 2 years to get in. They're panicking.
I think that's something we need to look at in the future because it's pros and cons of that. That's a whole nother subject, but I didn't know, if y'all even looked at that. But the committee said, don't even look at it right now.
With some of the things that we have in place, the calendar has to look a lot different than what, like Livonia has put out, or the 40 whatever districts across the state that have done it. A lot of them have moved away from 187-day contracts, and they've bumped those down to 180 to 100, even 174, 75. If you have a 187-day contract for teachers, even though you may go to a 4-day week for staff or for students, so they only go to school 160 days, they are all reducing their teacher days. Otherwise, the staff's gonna be coming in every Friday to reach 187. And so that's one of the things you have to kind of consider is
Contracts.
Yep, contracts that come with it. The other thing is, right now, I think the high school goes longer, or the longest of anybody, and they go 170 hours, 170 minutes, or excuse me,
485.
485 minutes a day is what our high school goes. Some of those districts are going over 500 minutes a day in order to get 75,600. Because it doesn't matter if you do it how many days. Yeah, as long as you get those minutes, that's all that counts. So there's some things that are give and take with that. So lengthening the school day, is that good? Because our elementaries go for 465, so they would be adding up to 45 minutes a day.
And by the time they got picked up and dropped off?
You're talking about it, yeah. That's a long day.
Yeah, there's a lot of pros and cons to looking at that.
And so, and we did start the discussion in a timely manner, and just so many hurdles we ran into. If it's still, we continue this, and then if people want to continue to look at it, then we can go more in depth at it. But there are several conversations that have to be had. And
So out of the schools that have went to it, have anyone retracted and got back out of it?
No, there's only one district, I think, that's in their 3rd year. There are a lot that did it this past year, and the reason they're doing it, mostly rural schools, is for competition for teachers. They cannot pay even what we pay right now. One district, I think, said they paid $36,000, and so to recruit teachers, they had to do something to try to get teachers to come to their area. So that's what it is. It's a recruitment tool. I know a lot of them in the Panhandle, they do it for. They've been doing it a while because they have so far to go on like on Fridays. And they work out, but the teachers know that's what it is.
So board members, we just wanted to give you a little update on where we are. We will be making a recommendation in February. And so we wanted to kind of give you a little background of that, let you know it's not something we just throw together and pitch out to the board. We're putting some time and effort with our staff and with our our teachers involved in that process. So thank you, Dr. Witt.
Next on the agenda is item number 5, action items. First action item is the consent agenda. Does anyone have any questions or discussions on the items on the consent agenda?
Board members, there is one addition to that, as presented in the packet, is a donation from Victory Air Conditioning. They've donated $1,000 for our softball program to go towards our dugouts, which have been reconditioned, and so they look great. So we want to thank Victory Air Conditioning, since it is at that value of $1,000, it requires board action, so we're going to put it on the consent agenda for your approval. But thank you to Victory Air.
Yes.
Thank you. Yes.
All right, if there is no questions, anyone like to make a motion on the consent agenda?
I'll make a motion to accept the consent agenda as presented.
Okay.
I'll second that.
Sherlock and Mr. Moon seconds it. Any further questions or discussion? All in favor, let me know by raising your right hand, or left hand, or whichever hand, doesn't matter. Anyone opposed? All right, motion carries 7-0. All right, the next action item is to consider approval of a budget amendment presented by Ms. Engel.
Good evening, Dr. Odom, Dr. Gilstrap, fellow board members. Tonight we're bringing to you a consideration of a budget amendment to utilize some of our unassigned fund balance. TEA recommends that districts maintain a 3-month operating expenditure in the unassigned fund balance. FISD's current monthly average expenditures are approximately $3 million. So therefore, the ideal unassigned fund balance for FISD would be $9 million. As of June 30th, the last audit that we had for the district's unassigned fund balance was a little over $11 million, which is approximately $2 million higher than the recommendation. As discussed with the Board Finance Committee, the administration recommends that we utilize $300,000 of this unassigned fund balance to help fund continued security programs and projects at $100,000, teacher technology refresh at $100,000, and an update to our white fleet at $100,000. You'll see the actual amendment attached there, and that's just putting it into those functions that you assign that you guys approve at that level to cover those expenditures. Are there any questions? If there are no questions, administration recommends the board approve the budget amendment as presented.
Any motion to accept the administration's recommendation?
I'll move to accept the administration's recommendation.
Okay, Mr. Moots makes the motion and Mr. Clear seconds it. Any further discussion or questions? All in favor, let it be known by raising your hand. Opposed? All right, Mr. Clear seconds.
Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Engler. All right, now we will consider approval of purchase of maintenance vehicles, presented by Mr. Schroll.
We moved the money in the budget, now we gotta spend it.
That probably won't be hard.
That's what we're doing.
I didn't know you put it there.
Yeah.
Good evening and Happy New Year, Board President Dr. Odom, Board of Trustees, and Superintendent of Schools. As you just heard, the board has just approved funding for this proposal in regards to the maintenance white fleet. The maintenance department has a total of 13 vehicles in their fleet. Included in this inventory are 12 trucks and 1 van with models ranging from 1997 to 2006. The maintenance department would like to upgrade our fleet with the purchase of 1 additional truck and 1 additional van. These 2 new vehicles will add dependability and efficiency to our aging motor fleet. It also avoids the need for employees to use personal vehicles when maintenance is required or doubling up when traveling to job sites should we have a vehicle go down, and that has happened before. We have received competitive quotes from multiple vendors for both vehicles. For the van, we use Byboard. We don't have to get 3 quotes, but I did. We are recommending purchasing the cargo van from Ansira Winton Chevrolet at the price of $41,425. For the truck, we received 3 quotes. We did not go through Byboard. We kept it local. We are recommending purchasing the truck from Ansira Ford Floresville at the price of $42,630. The price for both vehicles comes out to $84,055, and I believe I attached the quotes for those 2 vehicles. With that said, you want me to talk about teacher laptop refresh? Also, I wanted to visit with you about the teacher laptop refresh fund balance request. Our current fleet of laptops assigned to teachers and administrators is 5.5 years old. But the recommended useful life is 4 years. In the past, we have refreshed the entire fleet as a whole, but it becomes difficult to take on a large financial commitment only once in every 4 or 5.5 years. Altogether, there are about 400 units in our fleet for teachers and administrators, loaner devices to check out while devices being repaired, and devices to check out to long-term substitutes who need to use the same technology in classroom as our regular teachers. We would like to implement a strategy of replacing a quarter, approximately 100 devices of the fleet every year, which will build a line item into the budget. The standard device would be a Dell Latitude 5430, has a 14-inch screen, Intel Core i5 processor, 16 gigabytes of RAM, and a 512 gigabyte that hardware, James, is that hard drive? Okay, a 4-year accidental damage warranty and a briefcase for each unit is included in this quote. The current quote would be $116,429, and that's valid until 1/20/2022. 2023, so we don't have much time. Attached in the board packet is the quote. I remind us that board action is required for this purchase since it exceeds the 50,000 limits set forth in policy CH local. Are there any questions?
On that van and the truck, what's the van setup? Is it just a straight cargo van or?
Yes, it doesn't have the HVAC, ladder rack. Yeah, I did price that. It's about 16,000, 18,000 to do that. And
It's just
think
a base
we can do
model.
it. Yeah, it's a base model. Yes.
And the pickup, is that a half ton or
It is a, let me get it
Is it utility bed, or I mean, what does it come with? Just a straight?
It is a, just a second, Mr. Sabota. I have that right here.
A 3/4 ton.
Yeah.
Yes, that is correct, and it is the engine's no, it's not.
With the bed?
6.2 gas engine.
That is correct, what you're saying right there.
That's a straight.
It's straight, 4x2, 6.2, is it 6.2 liters?
They've already priced out the toolbox and all that.
Yeah, that's separate though. Right, it's separate, it's not included. That's my
They
question.
wanted to customize it.
Yeah, okay.
4.3.
It is not diesel, it's gas.
No, it's
Yes,
gas.
yes, but I just didn't know the utility box rack and all that. That's. gonna be
No,
separate.
that's gonna be separate. We did price that, and I think we can get that quite a bit cheaper.
Yeah.
Is it 16, 18,000 on the 3 quotes I got just for that ladder rack?
Right, and that's, yeah, you get nice stuff all day long. I might
Aftermarket stuff.
Might have to.
And I wanna try to keep it local as much as we can too.
Right.
If we can be
Clean the budget, yeah.
Any questions, any further questions?
So those laptops would be available for this school year?
If we order them now.
If we meet
probably
that.
A month or two, depending. Yeah.
It's definitely due.
So you're saying
Yeah.
order now?
Yeah.
James needs them.
The teachers.
Yes, they do. Okay, board, no further questions. Administration recommends the board approve the purchase of maintenance fleet vehicles and teacher laptop refresh as presented.
Mr. President, I move to accept administration's recommendation.
I second.
Motion, I'll second that. All right, any further discussion? Okay. All in favor, let me know by raising your hand. Anyone opposed? Motion carries 7-0. Okay.
Thank you, board.
Thank you. The next item is to consider approval of personnel presented by Ms. Thomas.
Good evening, Dr. Odom, Dr. Gilstrap, Board of Trustees. I come to you with the personnel report tonight, short and sweet. We have an employee being presented a recommendation for a probationary teacher contract. She's actually Marcella Belli. She's actually been a teacher at North Elementary since the first day of school. And she was one of our District of Innovation hires, and she has now obtained the status to be able to receive a contract because where she is in her certification program. So we're excited to recommend her tonight. Are there any questions about the personnel report? If there are no questions, administration recommends the board approve the employment contract as presented.
I'll make a motion to accept the employment contract as presented and recommended by the administration.
And I'll second that. All right, any further questions? All right. All in favor, let it be known by raising your hand. Opposed? Motion carries 7-0.
Thank you.
The board will now convene into executive session pursuant to Texas Government Code Section 551.074, personnel, at 8:04 p.m. No voting will take place in the closed session. Any action the board wishes to take as a result of discussion in the closed session will take place after the board reconvenes in the open session.
All right, thank you all very much.
We will reconvene into open session at 9:39 p.m. And we have a recommendation. And Jason, would you like to read that for us?
Mr. President, move to approve the superintendent summative evaluation, to approve a new 3-year superintendent contract, and for the board president to work with the superintendent to develop a proposed compensation plan to be formulated at a later meeting.
All right, you heard the motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Mr. Luke seconds that. All right, any further discussion or questions? There are none. If you're in favor of that motion, every number raise your hand. All right, 7-0. Anyone opposed? Motion carries. All right.
Thank you, board members, on behalf of myself, my family, appreciate it very much for all you do and for your support of me and my efforts here in the district and for everything you do for me. So thank you very much.
We appreciate
Thank you. But we thank you for everything
Thank
you've
you.
done and are doing.
Yes. We've now concluded our agenda for this meeting. Any further business? Hearing none, the meeting is adjourned at 9:40 p.m.